with Sasha Banks commenting on removing her WWE name from her social media handles and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for September 30th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Speaking on his drive-thru podcast about SmackDown from last week, Jim Cornette talked about Lacey Evans losing to Liv Morgan. Who did Lacey Evans piss off? That is my question, because I don't know that I've seen a more talented female performer booked in such ridiculous ways ever from any company. What are you supposed to think about her? They had her do those promos. Again, part of this I'm sure was Vince, and some weird Vince idea that he had. They had her do the promos as the abused child, the military hero, and a determined young woman, which all led up to her being a heel for some reason. She's great as a heel, but now they are using her as cannon fodder for this Liv Morgan experiment of trying to make people believe that Liv Morgan is now, or ever has been, or should be, a professional wrestler. During an interview with WAZ, Ludwig Kaiser was asked about rumors of Vince McMahon previously planning on burying Gunther on the main roster. As he responded, "I don't know anything about the rumors. It's also usually the case that we don't let it get to us like that. From our side, we've been totally satisfied since we started on SmackDown. We've had a great reception there. The feedback has been positive right from the start. We can't complain about our TV time either. When you look at what we've done in a few months, even with Gunther's Intercontinental Championship title, it speaks for itself. Of course, there are always rumors here and there, but a lot of it is just not true." When it comes to a new addition to the AEW roster, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, "While we don't have confirmation that Bandido is signed with AEW, we do have confirmation that he was offered a full-time contract immediately after his performance in the loss to Chris Jericho on the 28th in Philadelphia." It would be added that PWInsider.com can independently confirm that this is the case and the company wants to sign Bandido. Tony Khan was seen enthusiastically hugging and greeting Bandido on the AEW entrance stage after his match with ROH champion Chris Jericho in Philly. PWInsider.com is also told that after his match against Jon Moxley this past Wednesday in Philadelphia as well, there is massive interest in bringing in Juice Robinson as often as possible and making him a regular for the company. With their time in Impact Wrestling coming to an end, Carl Anderson of the Good Brothers spoke to Sports Illustrated about the future of their team, saying, "Just like you said, never say never. We've got verbally agreed upon dates with New Japan Pro Wrestling for an extended period of time. But there's such a story built in with Bullet Club, and we never got to finish the story in WWE with AJ Styles or even Finn. There's been a lot of things that have happened in the business, so you can never say never. Anytime we can work with brothers like AJ and Finn, we're always going to listen to that." Speaking about the current AEW Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed, Jim Ross revealed on his podcast that he's surprised they got over. "If you told me 6 months ago that this was going to be a big deal, I'd have said, well, we will see. Those kids got over. They've gotten over, and it was a pleasant surprise that they have gotten over as they have. Good stuff, man. Some of these young cats are finding their home, and I like that. Two good athletic kids, and their little gimmick, the scissor me thing, seems to be working. It's funny what gets over, and how that works, but it has been a good deal, so I'm happy for those kids. That's what you want. You want young guys to find their way, and all that good stuff." Giving an update on Tony D'Angelo's apparent injury seen on this week's NXT, the Wrestling Observer pointed out that the Tony D'Angelo injury from 2 weeks ago aired on NXT this week. The actual spot was unremarkable. He took a drop toe hold from Wesley into the corner. Then he hit the mat, and it wasn't twisted or contorted, but somehow went out. It appeared watching that match that he wasn't moving well before it went out. Like there was an issue that somehow that spot took it out completely. The ref checked with D'Angelo, saw that he couldn't get up, and just stopped the match. The last word was that he would be out 6 to 8 weeks, but that info is more than a week old, so he didn't need major surgery. Speaking to Hollywood Raw, Drew McIntyre claimed that WWE Hall of Famer The Undertaker had once wrestled when he was able to walk backstage. But all of a sudden, he's flying around the ring like a Mexican luchador. And I went, how is this possible? I literally watched this man unable to walk backstage. Now he's hitting the ropes faster than anybody in the entire WWE, doing his diving clothesline. And he came backstage and he seemed fine, till that adrenaline goes down, and it was back to the physical problems again. And I was like, man, look at him right there. That's somebody that truly loves this industry so much, he's willing to give everything, including his body, to it. Talking about Adam Cole suffering a concussion in AEW, Disco Inferno accused the promotion of not informing the public about head trauma to their talent, saying on Keeping It 100, unreported concussions too, by the way, there's gotta be, because these guys are constantly, you're watching these matches, and I'm not just like, there's no way. We know how little it takes some to get your bell rung. These guys are kicking each other in the head constantly, and I know they're pulling it, you're not trying to kick the guy like really hard, but I mean you can't really pull it enough to have it never ring your bell, and nobody's putting their hands up to protect themselves on the kicks, so it's like there has to be a lot of getting your bell rung. With Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks suspended from AEW following their backstage brawl with CM Punk from All Out, it seems they may have to wait for legal action to return. For the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that, regarding the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they all hadn't heard anything from the company, at least as of a few days ago. The company hasn't and won't address anything regarding pretty much anything these days on these type of subjects, but the belief is that their situation is on hold, pending potential legal action, which, unless cleared up, could delay things for some time, and there's also a second holdup that hasn't been made clear. Sticking with the Observer newsletter, an update was given on Randy Orton, who has been out of action since May and is not expected to be back for the rest of the year, with it said that there is a lot of concern regarding Orton's back injury and its severity. Speaking of the Viper, Chris Jericho revealed on the AEW Unrestricted podcast how Eddie Kingston reminds him of Randy Orton, saying, "Eddie Kingston reminds me of Randy Orton. Polar opposites in image and gimmick, but neither one of them quite realized just how good they are. They kind of think it's funny to downplay themselves. They're both so good. Eddie doesn't quite get it yet. When he does, he's going to be a world champion. Not that he doesn't know, but he still has an inner demon. I think those are going away because he realizes just how good he is. I saw it from the start. I'm a big fan of Eddie Kingston." With those in Florida dealing with the ramifications of Hurricane Ian, WWE star and one half of the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, posted a photo of himself outside his home writing, "House flooded up. Pissed off? Absolutely. But still, hoo-day." While Brock Lesnar is apparently booked to wrestle at Crown Jewel, according to Ringside News, the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer pointed out that the only US show the Beast is booked on currently is for next year. As he said, a decision will be made this week regarding the date of the Day 1 pay-per-view. Right now, the show was scheduled for January 1st at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. There is talk that it could be changed, and the announcement would be made next week if that's the case. Although, we were told that either way, it would remain at the building. Also, as of right now, Lesnar is scheduled on that show, which is the next US show that he's being listed for. With AEW putting out a tweet commemorating Sammy Guevara's TNT title win over Miro a year ago, which was the latter's first singles loss in the company, Miro would respond writing, "You don't even have the balls to at me." As Miro has not been seen since All Out and hasn't wrestled on Dynamite in months, it remains to be seen what is next for him. Talking on Last Word on Pro Wrestling, former WWE star Lana, who is married to Miro, talked about potentially signing with AEW. "I truly believe Miro and I are a great package. Wherever we go, we both love, above anything else in wrestling, the storytelling aspect of it. We have had a great run in WWE, and I enjoy watching Miro wrestle today, just as I used to do back then. Joining him again, wherever he goes wrestling, is certainly an enticing offer for me. So that's why if I was to go there, it would be about timing and story. I know we could add a lot to an already amazing show. It could happen next week, or it could never happen. People will just have to wait to find out, and that is the best part about this business. With Andrade promoting a time to converse with fans through direct message to answer their questions, he would post a photo of himself hitting the D-Generation X pose, which seems to be a reference to the head of WWE Creative, Triple H. Andrade has retweeted users who criticized AEW for the star's lack of TV time in the company. He also recently posted a tweet of an hourglass potentially hinting that he was counting down the days till his AEW contract expires. During the summer, Sasha Banks and Naomi would walk out on WWE prior to an episode of Raw, which led to them vacating the women's tag titles, and they have not been seen in the company since. With it reported that the two have agreed to return, Sasha Banks recently made headlines for changing her handles to her real name, Mercedes Varnado. As she recently commented on this, writing, "New handles, same handler." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.